This video upgrade station is NNVC. It's an OTC bulletin board company trading under ticker NNVC. See, the stock's had a pretty strong 2013. Was holding a channel before it kind of just fell apart here in February, but rebounded very quickly, busted through a resistance point around 53 cents. After that big move, pulled back, in classic TA fashion, held that old resistance point as a support level. Some pretty sizable swings back up near a resistance point around 76, 78 cents. And over the last 3 weeks, it's really made a strong move, hold over top of the 50 and 200-day moving averages, break back through that resistance point, and make some new highs. So I just want to take a moment and talk about what I'd look for in a chart like this that clearly has some strong momentum building in it. You can see leading into it, it's actually pretty nice. Strong upward trend to the MACD, continually making higher lows. In the more near term, that trend's accelerated, holding over top of zero in a very bullish position at this point. Now the ADX is starting to get a little high over top of 40 now. That indicates a lot of strength to the direction, which is a good thing. But levels up near 50 and 60 is where I start to look for some sort of retrace. So I just keep that in mind going forward, that while it's not there, the ADX is still pushing pretty high right now. But all in all, positive DI rising, ADX rising, a lot of strength to the direction of the chart right now. Generally speaking, outside of a couple dips here and there, money flow index holding the upper half of that indicator, showing people are continually paying higher prices for the stock. Accumulation distribution also making an upward channel, indicating that there's not a lot of selling pressure while the price per share is climbing, which may seem almost intuitive, that's the way it should be, but there's times where the price per share is climbing and the accumulation distribution is dipping, which tells me that there is selling in the play and smaller buys are actually walking the stock price up. So it's just a quick check to see this accumulation distribution rising, because that's what you want to see. That's also reinforced by Chaikin money flow, holding in the green, saying buying pressure is outweighing selling pressure. Technically speaking, the buy point from the CCI came right through there on the break of 100. It's considered a hold until it breaks back down through 100. Full Stowe's made a sharp move upward. It's a gauge of momentum. Up over top of 80 indicates the momentum is very strong. On a broader perspective, I always want to see it holding over top of 50 just to show that the bullish momentum is being sustained. In the tricks, again, nice climb, holding over top of zero, making higher highs and higher lows, showing the trend is indeed bullish. RSIs, over top of 50, momentum is being sustained. Up over top of 70, that's what a lot of momentum traders consider being in the power zone. And because I always reference that upper half of that indicator, you can see right through there, when the RSIs broke through 50, coming off of this dip, you can see the momentum that built in the share price that took off right from that point forward. That's why I always talk about indicators holding the upper half, just a far more bullish position. Now I'll go ahead, just to reinforce the idea of what I opened this video with. You can see the strong resistance point right there around 53 cents. When the stock finally blew through it and came back down, settled right on that area, which happened to coincide with the 200-day, holding that level and starting to climb again, was all bullish indications that a stronger move may be coming. And that, of course, is indeed what happened. I would say that there's a top-end resistance that set itself in play there at 78. I think you can almost see right down around 72 cents. That itself was a pretty strong resistance point. Even though it did pop through it a couple different times, only on one occasion it closed above that level, and that was right there at the peak of that run. So I'd hold that mark if this stock decides to pull back, closed at 89 cents on Friday. Granted, it's a long ways away for it to drop all the way back down to 73 to lose 16 cents a share, but that's the lower end support level that I'd want to see if this stock indeed pulls back. If it can hold that, trend sideways a little bit, maybe similar to something like this, then I'd look for another move to come and try and break through a resistance point, which is really going to be set right there at those highs that it made on Friday, up at 93 cents. Now, this is a 9-month chart, but if I happen to scale it out further, you'd see that this actually does represent 52-week highs. Essentially, that's what a lot of people call a blue sky breakout. So there's not much resistance really set in the way at this point, other than that little bit of resistance perhaps at 93 cents that was set. Now, to that end, I actually did scale this out and took a much longer-term look at it. There is going to be some more resistance up around $1 historically, and of course, that's typically a psychological barrier as well. But for the intents and purposes of a 1-year chart, there's not much resistance in its way. So right now, I'd just be looking to see if this momentum is going to carry forward, see if it's going to blow through and make a new high. And I would watch out for the idea if it hits $1 and pulls back, I'd become a little bit more conscious of how difficult that resistance point may establish itself to be in the future. But other than that, a lot of momentum, strong trend. If it does pull back, lowest possible I'd want to see is back around 73 cents, because really below that, it doesn't pick up more support until down around 60, maybe a little bit in through 68. But that would be a key point for me, because I want to see it holding the majority of this move right here. Nice looking chart though, good one to start this week out with. We'll just pay attention to it going forward and see how it performs. As always, merely my interpretation of the NNVC chart. Thank you for watching. Trade smart.